কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজন রঞ্জন যমুনা তীর বনচারী যমুনা তীর বনচারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে জয় রাধা গিরিধারী রাধে জয় জগন্নাথ জয় বলদেব জয় সুভদ্রা জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ নিতাই গৌর হরি বল হরি বল নিতাই গৌর হরি বল. So, Hare Krishna devotees. So today we'll first read from Prabhupada's Lilamrita, and after that we'll recite and discuss one slok from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm sharing my screen so that I can read from Lilamrita. So, do everybody see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you. In the original Vedic society of ancient India, brahmachari life began at the age of 5. Parents would send their son to live with the Guru and the Gurukula, where the boy would receive basic education, spiritual instruction, and strict moral discipline under the Guru. Even Lord Krishna, in his transcendental pastimes on earth, had attended a Gurukula and very humbly served his spiritual master. The basic principle of brahmachari life was celibacy. By practicing celibacy, the brahmachari would develop great powers of memory and sensory control. And if such a trained brahmachari later decided to take a wife, his sex life would be regulated, not licentious. But although brahmachari life was necessary for a healthy society, Prabhupada had been within his own lifetime the rapid deterioration of brahmacharya almost to non-existence. And in America, the situation was, of course, much worse. Srimad Bhagavatam tells of a young Brahmana, Ajamila, who fell from spiritual life because he had seen a drunken man embracing a half-naked prostitute. In America, to see a half-naked prostitute in public was not uncommon. As soon as Brahmachari walked out on the street, he would confront so many allurements. But Prabhupada was convinced that Brahmachari could protect themselves even in America if they regularly chanted Hare Krishna and sincerely tried to follow the rules and regulations. Krishna would protect them. Hare Krishna. So, we'll now recite from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is from Canto 4, chapter 29 and verse 1b. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Srinnatam Shakata Krishna Punno Sravana Kirtana Hridhiyantasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti shurichatam Nashta Praeshu abhadreshu Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Nashtiki. So today we'll read from Canto 4, chapter 29, verse 1b. The heading of this canto, the creation of the fourth order, and the heading of this chapter, talks between Narada and Prachin Bari. So I'm sharing the screen. Just allow me a minute. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 29 and text 29, 1b. Bhakti Krishna and Daya Jivesho Akunto Gyanam Atmani Jodi Shat Atmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Sangsritihe. Bhakti Krishne Jaya Jivesho Akunto Gyanam Atmani Jodi Shat Atmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Sangsritihe. Bhakti Krishne Daya Jivesho Akunto Gyanam Atmani Jodi Syadatmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Sangsrite. Bhakti Krishne Daya Jivesho Akunto Gyanam Atmani Jodi Syadatmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Sangsrite. So, dear devotees, if anyone like to chant, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, please.
Bhakti Krishne Daya Jiveshu Akunta Jnanamatmani Yadi Swatatmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Samsriti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Krishne Daya Jivesha Akunta Jnanam Atmani Jodishadatmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Samsrite. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please.
Bhakti Krishne Daya Jiveshu Akuntha Jnanam Atmani Yadi Sayat Atmano Bhuyat Apavargastu Samshritehe. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji, thank you. Anyone else is there? Otherwise, then go to the synonyms. Can anyone please read out the synonyms, please?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhakti, devotional service. Krishna, unto Krishna. Daya, mercy. Jiveshu, unto other living entities. Akunto Jnanam, perfect knowledge. Atmani, of the self. Yadi, if. Sat, it becomes. Atmanaha, of one's self. Bhuyat, there must be. Apavarga, liberation. Tu, then. Samsrite, from the bondage of material life. Hare Krishna.
And can anyone please read the translation, please?
I'll try, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Please.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If a living entity is developed in Krishna consciousness and is merciful to others, and if his spiritual knowledge of self-realization is perfect, he will immediately attain liberation from the bondage of material existence. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And can anyone please the purport, please?
May I, Prabhuji, please?
Yes, Motherji, please.
Prepared by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this way, the words Daya Jiveshu, meaning mercy to other living entities, indicate that a living entity must be merciful to other living entities if he wishes to make progress in self-realization. This means he must preach this knowledge after perfecting himself and understanding his own position as an eternal servant of Krishna. Preaching this is showing real mercy to living entities. Other types of humanitarian work may be temporarily beneficial for the body, but because a living entity is spiritual soul, ultimately one can show him real mercy only by revealing knowledge of his spiritual existence. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishnera Nityadas. Every living entity is constitutionally a servant of Krishna. One should know this fact perfectly and should preach it to the mass of people. If one realizes that he is an eternal servant of Krishna but does not preach it, his realization is imperfect. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore sings, दुष्ट मन तुम्ही किशेरा वैष्णवा प्रतिष्ठा रतरे निर्जने रे घरे तब हरिनाम केवल कैटव. My dear mind, what kind of Vaishnava are you? Simply for false prestige and a material reputation, you are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in a solitary place. In this way, people who do not preach are criticized. There are many Vaishnavas in Vrindavan who do not like preaching. They chiefly try to imitate Haridas Thakur. The actual result of their so-called chanting is in a secluded place, however, is that they sleep and think of women and money. Similarly, one who simply engages in temple worship but does not see to the interests of the mass of people or cannot recognize devotees is called a Kanishta Adhikari. आचार्यम एव हराये पूजा में या श्रद्धाया हते नातत भक्तेषु चानेषु सा भक्ता प्राकृतः स्मृतः. Bhagavad Gita 11.2.47. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Motherji, for the nice reading the purport. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Shayam Padamayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yata Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sajivam Swadhaitam Sapadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakannitangsya. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले गोपालनुगामी श्री शुभ गोस्वामिने सदा दैन्यशीली शुभगाय सर्वजीव कृपाब्दे गुरु शिक्षा सदाचार पलकाय नमस्तुते. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशोतारिणे. नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेमोपदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः. मुखं करोति वाचलं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं. Hare Krishna. I welcome you all the devotees here in this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. I am not qualified, but I am still doing this service as I have been instructed to undertake this service, and because it gives me an opportunity to purify myself. So I beg you, all the devotees here, for your mercy, please bless me so that I can properly glorify Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, as a brief background of this chapter, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned at the end of verse 85 that according to Vijayadhwaja Tirtha, who belong to the Madhvacharya Sampradaya, this particular verse appears after verse 79. So if we recollect, a discussion was going on at the time between Narad Muni and King Prachin Burhi. King Prachin Burhi had asked Narad Muni how the results of action activities of a person is transferred from one body to another after death. And while replying to this question, Narad Muni was reciting the verse 60 to 79, and it comes after that. So it is related to that in that way. Now, let me read the translation of the verse by Srila Prabhupada. If a living entity is developed in Krishna consciousness and is merciful to others, and if his spiritual knowledge of self-realization is perfect, he will immediately attain liberation from the bondage of material existence. Here we find what are the qualities one will acquire when he becomes a pure Krishna conscious devotee or a pure devotee. He is merciful to others, and he has proper spiritual knowledge, and is perfectly self-realized, and he is also liberated from the bondage of material existence. So that is our goal as a Krishna conscious devotee, that we should try to achieve it. And in fact, if we become a pure devotee, these qualities automatically grows to any pure devotee. We are living in this material world. So what is this material world? To a pure devotee, or any devotee, we are trying to be a devotee. To us, material life means false attachment for sense enjoyment because of one's false ego, false prestige. A material person has limitless or insatiable desires, unlimited desires. Sometimes such desires are fulfilled, sometimes they are not. When they are fulfilled, the person becomes very proud, and in this way he tries to do another thing and try to be proud and prouder. But if it is not fulfilled, it creates his anger, despair, moroseness, and fear. And under the spell of Maya, when it is not fulfilled, he tries to get relief from all this, to work more. He works more and hard, from hard to harder, thinking that he can get rid of this problem financially or by endeavoring more. So he gets engaged in more and more activities and more work repeatedly. He does more and more work repeatedly. And in this way, as a reaction to all these activities and unfulfilled desires, when he dies, he gets another body. And this another body is given to him because he has unfulfilled desires. And in this way, life after life, he continues in the chain of life, and life after life, he remains in this cycle of birth and death. But what about the devotees? The devotees of the Lord views a different lens, we can say, to view the things and the problems. They want to see the problems from a bigger perspective. And they know that Lord Krishna is the source of everything, and they have heard it from the authorities. So they relate everything to the Lord Krishna and his devotees. And they can perceive that when they are attached to material objects, and in this way they are away from the Lord, it only brings miseries for them. So a materialistic person also has the same experience. They do the same thing, and so they can see the same results as well. But they are ignorant. They are not very careful to investigate the root cause and investigate further, in other words, and fail to realize the root cause. As a result, although they see it, they cannot see it. And there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Pashonapi na pashyoti. It's 2.1.4. I'm not reading that verse, but it means that although they see it, but they cannot see it. They do not try to investigate why it is happening, and they remain aloof from the investigation. And in fact, there are three kinds of transcendentalists. Transcendentalists means those who are trying to overcome the influence of the modes of material nature. There are three kinds of people. Of course, there are four. I'm just telling: Gyanis, Yogis, and the Bhaktas. Of course, the Karmis are also there, and they elevate themselves to Karma Yogis. So they also, in that way, it becomes fourth. But all of them try to attempt to overcome the influence of the senses from the sense objects. And incidentally, the sense enjoyment in a material life, or in a material condition, is irresistible. It is very difficult because sense are naturally attracted to sense objects. For any person with a materialistic mind, there are so many sense objects around him. The incessant flow of material desires comes to him. It is just like a river full of waves, and particularly in the rainy season, it is too high. And similarly, in some situation, the waves are so extreme that it is very difficult for a common person to overcome it. I mean, to overcome it in a successful way, because the desires of material sense, when the sense objects approaches to the senses are naturally attracted to that. But why it has happened? This is happened because our constitutional position, because we are in a conditioned life. What is conditioned life? Conditioned life means we are away from our natural condition. Our existence is spiritual, because our identity is spiritual originally, but we are put in the material condition. So we are in a artificial situation. It is just like a fish taken out of water. So in this material world, it is always a difficult situation for us. And this can be only overcome when we go back to our original Swarup, or original existence, or our natural condition. And it is told in the verse also, Jive Swarupa in Krishna Nityadas. So when we realize that, then we can try to find out a solution for that. So it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this situation is very nicely explained, the root cause is very nicely explained. Krishna bhuli shei jeev onadi bohirmu etoe mayatare dey samsardu. We have forgotten Krishna, and that's why the material, the external potency of the Lord, that is Maya Shakti, gives us misery, because we are away from Krishna and we are trying to enjoy independently. And because it is the situation, Krishna has created a situation, a false situation, where we feel that we are happy. But in this way, we cannot be happy. That one should understand that situation. But what happens for a devotee when they turn towards Krishna and they are trying to go back to the Krishna, in this way, their problem, it is not that they do not face the problem, but they have a solution for it. They know what is the solution. And in this way, when they approaches Krishna, Krishna gives him the help, necessary help to get rid of this problem. So this is the difference between a material person and a devotee. And we know that as long as there is a material body, there is a material desire. It has a requirement for the material body. The demands for the body or sense gratification is there. But the devotee is not disturbed by such desire because of his fullness, because he has surrendered to Krishna. He gets inspiration from the Lord, and he is trying to bring Krishna in his life. And in this way, the more and more he get attached to the Krishna's service, the lesser his attachment for material things. He's not even slightly, it is not that he doesn't have that, but he is gradually trying to replace it by Krishna consciousness, by activities to Krishna. And gradually, and finally, he lost all inclination for material sense enjoyment, sense gratification. Although the desires are present, the desires are there within him, but he has no time to fulfill it. And in this regard, we can tell one quotation from Prabhupada. Prabhupada was asked by a person at one time, Prabhupada, do you have a lasting desire in your mind? Prabhupada told, yes, I have, but I have no time for it. This is because he remains satisfied with the transcendental loving service of God, and he is so much busy with that he, although these things comes, but he remains steady with that, with devotional service, and this doesn't disturb him. And in fact, all those who are other transcendentalist I've referred, the Gyanis, or they're called salvationists. Also, they want to merge with the Supreme Brahman. And the Kurmis, the fruitive workers, want their results, and ultimately they discard the results to the Lord. So they are called Karmayogi. And the mystic powers who tries to acquire mystic power, the Ashtanga yogis, they have all unfulfilled desires, so they are disturbed. But the Krishna conscious person is not disturbed because of the material desires around him, because he remains steady like a ocean. And in fact, I think in 270 in chapter 2 of verse 70 of Purvamana Mochalo Pratishthatam, it is mentioned that a person remains steady in spite of all the desires flowing to him. He remains steady like an ocean, just like an ocean. All the rivers are coming, but the ocean is not disturbed because of the incessant flow of waters to them, because he in case of a Krishna conscious person, he is so much attached with Krishna's activities that he is not disturbed by such material desires. He has the capability of ignoring this attachment for material attachment. Now that the first part, what we have discussed is that Bhakti Krishna. So one who has Bhakti to Krishna, or one who is attached to service by serving the Lord happily, that is the first part, first two words of this verse. Next, we are going to Daya Jiveshu. So, to a common man, what is what Daya means? Daya means we show much, we sympathize with the person who is suffering. That is called Daya. So, to a common man or a materialistic person, mercy means giving a person some food, for the time being, or giving him some money, or similar other help to get rid of the temporary problems of the body. And it is good to help someone when he is in need of something or suffering. One of the greatest value of mankind is helping those in need. But does it really solve the problem permanently? I'm sure it is no, because the problem, the root cause, the cause remains. And if we have solved him temporarily, because the root cause is there, it will be repeated after some time. It will come back after some time, and the root, it will continue till the root cause is resolved. So, what is the real mercy to a person? Real mercy to a person means to give him the knowledge so that why the problem is coming, and so that the person tries himself and get out of it, and help that person so that he can get rid of that problem permanently. Now, everybody in this material world is suffering in this material existence. But because they are ignorant they have no knowledge about it, the root cause, they are not endeavoring in that direction. One who knows this, and he is empowered because he knows what is the root cause, and he has overcome it. And he should therefore help others. That is what Prabhupada is telling. That is what a devotee does, or a sadhu does. A devotee of the Lord is enlightened himself. His concern is therefore to enlighten others in devotional service to the Lord. And that is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, the purpose of human life is spoiled. And one is spoiling his human life. He is not in devotional service. A sadhu or a devotee knows it. And in fact, the first quality of a devotee or a sadhu, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-21, Titikshavaha karunikaha shuridaha sarvadehinam ajata shatravaha shantaha sadhava sadhubhushana. The symptoms of a sadhu is that he is tolerant. The first quality of a sadhu is tolerant, is merciful and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all these characters are sublime. These are the translation of Srila Prabhupada of that verse. So a sadhu or a devotee travels. In fact, that's why a devotee, if we say an advanced devotee like a sannyasi and others, what they do, they travel all over the country from door to door and preaching to everyone that be Krishna conscious, be a devotee of the Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. And human life is meant for self-realization and Krishna consciousness. That is what he preaches. And he is not satisfied with his own liberation. As Prabhupada has referred his spiritual master's words, that he is not satisfied by his own liberation. He realizes the others are suffering, and he has a duty to that, to them. And that duty is because of his mercy for the other living being. So therefore he's most compassionate person towards all the fallen souls. And when he gets engaged in this preaching work, in most cases they often there are so many opposing elements, and therefore a sadhu or the devotee of Lord is very tolerant, and he has to suffer because he is tolerant. That's why he undertakes this suffering. Because people are not reluctant to take devotional service, they're ignorant and they do not like it, and it is their disease. But sadhu has the thankless job of impressing them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. We have seen even in the past, Haridas Thakur and Nityananda, Lord Nityananda was attacked by Jogai Madhai, because they tried to preach following the Chaitanya's instruction, and they were attacked. And similarly, in the recent times, even some of the devotees in Russia also, they were previously USSR, but they were also put in jails because they wanted to preach Krishna consciousness, which the rulers did not like it. And similarly, they have to face a lot of problems and a lot of sufferings when they are preaching. And so the devotees, one of the qualities is that he is very merciful. And in fact, this merciful is not just limited to the human being. He is merciful even to the other living beings. Sometimes people think that mercy means showing mercy to the human being only. But a devotee of the Lord is merciful to every Shurida Sharpo Dehina. He is merciful to everyone, the cats, dogs, trees, and all living beings. And because he knows that all the living beings, in whatever form they are in their material condition, they're all suffering, and they all should go, the aim should be to get rid of this suffering. So in this regard, we can give an example. Shivananda Sen, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a mention in the Madhuli, I think in the Madhuli, I think, yes. Shivananda Sen was from Bengal at the time. He was taking the devotees to Puri Dham, and all of them, all the groups, he bear the expenses for them, and he took them in a group to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the Car festival or the Ratha Yatra festival in Puri. And at one time, one of the dog became part of the group, and it was a street dog only. So, but when they came, the dog followed the party, and in this way they became part of the party. And when they were proceeding in this way, after some days, because at that time it took time to go from Bengal to Puri, a lot of days were there, because they were going by walking or sometimes by boat. So there was enough. It took a long day sometimes. So one day the dog got lost on the way, and Shivananda Sen was so merciful for the dog that he did not take his food for the night. He himself and sent other people to find out the dog in the nearby village. And with all his effort, of course, the dog could not be found. And he was very sorry. And when ultimately he has to move, and when he went to Puri in Jagannath Dham, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and surprisingly, the dog was present there. And it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking pieces of coconuts, and the pieces were being thrown to the dog. And ultimately, after a couple of days later, the dog died. So the dog has the opportunity of getting the prasad from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. So that is the mercy of a devotee, that he does not only care for the living being or the human being, but he cares for all the living beings. And in fact, in this regard, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed in all his devotees, particularly the followers of Gaur or Gaur Bhaktavinda who are Krishna conscious, that there is in Chaitanya there is a verse in Chaitanya Chandra Adi Lila 941. ভারত ভূমিতে মনুষ্য জন্ম হইল ভারত ভূমিতে হইল মনুষ্য জন্ম যার জন্ম সার্থক করি পর উপকার. Those who are born in this land of Bharatvarsha, they should make their life successful by accepting Krishna consciousness and then preach it to others. And por upakar means here means you preach it to others. So that is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is so compassionate that he does not want that one should only save himself from this material condition. He wants to say he should also endeavor to save others from that one. And in fact, all the good qualities also develops to it, other devotees also. Now we are going. Another thing is that for preaching, another important part is that the Lord is also very pleased. Just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is told in to preach his devotees so that they can liberate the other people can also get the benefit of that. Similarly, Lord Krishna is also told in chapter 18, verse 68 of Bhagavad Gita, where it is told pure devotional service is guaranteed for those at the end. He will go back to Krishna who preaches the glory of the Lord. And he also told in the next verse that there is no servant in this world more dear to Lord than no one was there, no one is there, no one will be there who preaches the glories of the Lord. He is so dear to the Lord. So one should preach it, and preaching is a very important aspect of a devotee, that he should not only save himself, but he should try to save others as well. And now let us go to the last point, that is the perfect knowledge. What is perfect knowledge? Perfect knowledge, as we have told, there are three types of transcendentalists, but perfect knowledge, how we can, we'll just discuss what is best transcendental knowledge and how we can acquire it. The science of Krishna consciousness gives us the knowledge about our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and about our duties towards Him, and particularly how we can get out of this temporary material bondage and go back to His abode, which is our eternal home. And now Vedic instruction is that one can understand the absolute truth by hearing from authorities and not by their but by their own personal effort or by speculation or logical arguments. One has to follow the authorities. And authority, who is the best authority? The Supreme Lord Krishna himself. And Krishna in the recent times, I mean, not in the present way, but about 538 years ago, he appeared in the land of Bengal as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has told how we can acquire the best transcendental knowledge. And he has told that by logical arguments one cannot understand the absolute truth or the perfect knowledge or the supreme or the qualities and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why the same message is also given in in Mahabharata, and it was told by Yudhishthir Maharaj in Vanaparva. This Torko Apratishta Suzoyo Bibhinna Nasau Rishirya Shamatam Navinnam Dharmasya Tattam Nihitam Guhayam Mahajana Enogatha Shapanta. So by dry argument, we cannot reach to the absolute truth. and great personality. And Srutayo Bibhinna means there are so many. So the Vedas is Srutayo means here Vedas. The Vedas are so diverse. So many things are discussed in the Vedas. So it is very difficult for a common person to go to arrive at the real truth. And simply by his own effort, one cannot do that. And another difficulty is that there are, because it is very difficult for a common man to arrive at the final conclusion, so there are other people, sometimes it is likely that if he is not following the perfect person, he is likely to be cheated or he may be diverted from the real goal. So that is why. And another point is that in the Nashao Rishi Jashomatam, a Muni or a Rishi becomes famous only when he gives a different interpretation to the Vedic conclusion. That's why it is better, or what should be our duty? We should follow what the great authorities or the Mahajanas have done. Mahajanaino gatha shapanta. So we should follow the great devotees, because in their heart the Lord is situated in their heart. So what they have told or what they have followed in their personal life, we should follow that. And in fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has gone to South India, he was discussing with Ramananda Rai about different levels of devotional service and what are the ways of doing it. And in one of the verses, he asked Ramananda Rai that what is, in your opinion, that is given the best example, what is the best knowledge? What is the best knowledge of transcendental knowledge? And it is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhulila, chapter 8, verse 245. Prabhu kohe kun vidya vidya madhye sar, Rai kohe Krishna bhakti bina vidya nahiyar. No education is more important other than the transcendental devotional service to Krishna. So devotional service Krishna is the highest education. And as a devotee of the Krishna conscious person, we are trying to acquire that knowledge. Now, of the Vidyas are normally in a broad classification. One is the material knowledge, or one is the spiritual knowledge. Material knowledge or material education aims at increasing the activities of material sense gratification. But knowledge of Krishna consciousness is transcendental, is beyond this material education. And of course, in between there is one Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means it is impersonal transcendental knowledge. But here we find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also agreed that Krishna Bhakti, or the personal form of knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the best knowledge. In a similar way, the same conclusion has been made by Narad Muni also. In this present chapter, verse 49, Narad Muni was telling King Prachin Barhi that Tatkarmo Haritoshanam Yatsha Vidya Tanmatir Maya. And he was telling what meant for pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best. And this is the work about it. But what about the education? And education that enhances one's Krishna consciousness, that is the best. And the same is also supported by Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was asked, once Prahlad Maharaj asked by his father, Hiranyakashipu, when he was a child of 5 years only, he came to the school and he was asked by his father, so Prahlad, you have gone to school, what is the best knowledge you have learned? And Prahlad Maharaj's reply was that very famous, everybody knows it, but I'm just repeating for that. It is given in Canto 7, chapter 5, and verse 23 and 24. Srinnatam Shakata Krishna Smaranam Padashevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasham Shakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pungsharpita Vishnu Bhaktischena Navalakshanam Priyate Bhagavati Adha Tanmanedhitamuttamam. And this is a statement of Prahlad Maharaj. He is telling that Sravanam, to hear, to hear, and the Kirtana, to chant the Lord, and then of the Vishnu, and then Smaranam, remember the Lord, and Padashevanam, to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, and Archanam, to worship Him, to offer prayers to Him, and to become His servant, to become His friend, and to sacrifice everything for His service. All these are the devotional service He has referred. And what He has told, one who is engaged in such activity is his opinion the best educated person with the topmost perfection. So that is the knowledge Prabhupada is referring. In this verse, it is stated that if we do that, then that is the best knowledge we have acquired. We have to try. Our aim should be to do that, to acquire the best knowledge and to perform it in our own life. So Krishna consciousness is our best practice under the able guidance of a spiritual master. We can do it on, we should not do it our own, just as we have earlier told, it cannot be done by one's own effort only. He has to take the help of a spiritual master who is also a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows and that teacher, or you call spiritual master, he knows the nature of the student. He can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness, and as such will be well versed in Krishna. And because he is well versed in Krishna consciousness, he acts firmly and he can instruct his disciples in the best possible way. And one should accept the instruction of a bona fide of his spiritual master, and in this way he can make his life successful. And without the mercy of the spiritual master, one cannot learn it. And that's why in our Mongol Arati we pray to the Lord every day to our spiritual master. Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, jasya prasadat nagoti gotopi. And so without the satisfaction of the spiritual master, we cannot do that. Without satisfying spiritual master, there is no chance of one's being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. And if we do that, only then we have a chance to do that. We want to be. If we do that successfully, do it sincerely, then we can become successful in our spiritual life. And the whole process is, in brief, is transcending one from the material body to the concept of the soul. So it is not theoretically, but it is to be done practically. And in this way, we can get the best transcendental knowledge about Krishna. And when one acquires the knowledge in that way, he become merciful to others, and he become merciful to others, and he has the proper knowledge, and in this he preaches it. In this way, he can make his life successful, and he can get the mercy of the Lord, and at the same time, with the help of his pure devotees, with the blessings of the pure devotees, he can make his life successful, and subsequently he should ensure that the knowledge he has acquired, he can preach it to others, so that others can take advantage of it, and in this way they make their life successful for others' life as well. Then that is the goal of the human life. That is what is being stated in this verse. So with this, I'm concluding. If anyone has any other observation, reflection, or pointing out any mistakes I have committed, so please feel free to tell me, and I'm happy to learn from you. With that, I'm leaving to the devotees to make any comments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
You
Dandavat.
have nicely chalked out the flow chart, how to become a pure devotee, and what is the connection between the Lord and the living entities. So nicely, it's very, very important to understand who is actually a devotee and who is not. So it differentiates between a materialistic and a transcendentalist. So it is not only the material knowledge, it is the knowledge which are given in the scriptures to understand who is Lord, because we are none other than the part and parcel of the Lord. The ultimate goal is to reach to Him, where we came from. So that is only possible by understanding the scripture And the scripture can only be understood not by your own effort, by the association of the great devotee. By serving them, this knowledge can be achieved. We see that's in 2.16, 17. Shivatam Shakata Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtana Hridayantaste Avadrani Vidunati Shrichatam. So all this text tells us you can't do it by yourself. You need to be surrendered to somebody who is actually acquired the spiritual knowledge. And from there only you can get it. Because by self-knowledge is not going to help you. The most important, how the knowledge has been distributed to others. As Bhagavad Gita 18:68 and 69 tells, those who are actually preaching my, uh, mine to the others, they are actually the pure devotee. So it is very, very important to understand not to be a miser. We must share our knowledge for the benefit of others. So you can see the text on, yeah. So to become on that stage, Bhagavad Gita 12:13-14, Advesta Sarva Bhutanam, Maitra Karuna Evacha, Nirmamo Nirankara, Shama Dukkha Sukha Shami, Santushta Satatam Yogi, Yat Atma Dhira Nishchaya, Mai Arpita Manobhakti, Yo Mad Bhakta Shame Priya. Then Lord becomes very happy when this knowledge is being spreaded to others for their benefit. So we need to understand reading is okay, getting knowledge is all fine, but are we distributing the knowledge to others? Benefit. That is most important thing. And by doing so, we can make ourselves the source of inspiration to others. That's why all the great bhakta, all the great devotees, why they preach all over the world. Their business is to preach to others because they want to share the knowledge so that others can also be benefited by this knowledge of people. In this age of Kali, people are so engaged in the material knowledge, they don't find any time or they don't want to devote any time to understand the spirituality. Ultimately, it is the real knowledge which gives us what is the real goal of life. So only those great devotees or the spiritual master, they can elaborate this knowledge to others to make it in a simplified way so that they can better understand it. So, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says those who are already born in the land of Bharatvarsha, they are actually Punyatma. So they can be easily converted to the pure devotee by only following the instruction of the spiritual master. And they can lead the way to others so that they also become benefited. And this is what the message is given to this text. Is very, very important to understand, not for yourself. You need to understand the other living entities, how to help them and what way you can benefit them so that they also get the same opportunity as the devotees of Lord gets out of it. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji, for elaborating this point further. Thank you once again. Anybody else wants to make any comments, or does anyone to make any reflection or realization on this? So it appears there's no other person or any other person to make any comments, so we can conclude the session. Thank you everybody for coming for taking your time and coming to this session. Thank you. Vancha
Pachakalpatarabhyascha
कृपा
कृपा
सिन्धुवैव च
पतितानां
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
नमः
नमः
अनंत
अनंत कोटि
कोटि
वैष्णवृंद की
वृंद
जय।
की जय।
His
इस
grace
ग्रेट
अभय
अभय
चरण
चरण
प्रभु की
प्रभु
जय,
की जय।
प्रभुपाद की जय।
प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर
Nande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the
all
Hare
glories
assembled devotees, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna.